I created a website that allows anyone to choose a stock that I will buy. The way it works is extremely simple. On it, each person can suggest one stock per day and explain why they think it's relevant, and everyone can upvote or downvote that suggestion. Then, each day for 10 days, I will pick the most upvoted stock and invest 500 euros in it. If you're good at math, that makes a budget of 5,000 euros. The question is whether these 5,000 euros will earn me money from well-chosen rising stocks, or if subscribers will try to make me lose money. The experiment's goal is to test collective intelligence. It's based on a pretty crazy idea that says if you ask 100 people to guess, for example, the weight of an ox, the average of their answers is often closer than that of an expert. So, could this collective intelligence help beat the financial markets? Can we do better together than a professional trader? That's what we're going to test throughout this video. Before the video, let me explain in 20 seconds flat what a stock is. It's simple and important. For example, consider a company like Google. Well, Google, like many other companies, needs money to grow. That's why it sells small pieces of itself, which are called stocks, and in return, it gives a portion of the revenue it generates to the people who own those stocks. So you understand that owning a stock means owning a small part of that company. And if the company does well, it will grow. Its value will increase, and so the value of those stocks will also go up, and that's when you'll have made money. But it works both ways. If bad economic news happens, like a war, shortages, or a business failure, its value can collapse and you will have lost money. Everything depends on wisely choosing your investments and staying informed on current events, which is where you come in. The first step to carry out our experiment, as you're starting to get used to, is to create the project. I chose to make a website, but above all, a minimalist site that gets straight to the point. You'll see. We'll start with the domain name because that's what I'll share with my community so they can connect to it. It will be a subdomain of my personal site, ion.fr, namely choosemyinvestments.ion.fr. It literally means choose my investments. And if I'm explaining this to you, it's because for the graphic style, we're also going to use the DNA of my personal site. Basically, the idea is to reuse some of the same colors and elements. We'll use the same grid from my site as the background. It gives an experimental vibe that fits the theme. Next, we're going to add a big container at the top, which will allow us to suggest a stock and also indicate which day of the experiment we're on. For example, this is day 1 out of the 10 we're going to do. We add a drop-down list, which will contain thousands of possible stocks, a text field to explain why we're choosing this stock, and a button to submit your suggestion. So, if we compare the two sites, you understand what I meant when I said we were keeping the DNA. The little detail I'm going to add is that, like a tweet, I'm going to limit the number of characters you can put in this text field. This will require people to summarize their ideas, since there could be hundreds of suggestions and it would be long for voters to read. We'll add this text below the field as a legal requirement. Since we're talking about investment, I have to remind people that investing is risky, and above all, the information we provide on the site is not investment advice. Below, we add a new container, this time to display a timer. This lets us show each day how many hours are left until the vote ends. That's when I'll get the most voted stock and reset the proposals for the next day. And finally, below that, we'll put our proposals. It would look like this. Here, we would have the person's name. On the left is a system to upvote or downvote the idea, similar to Reddit. I'm adding a login page to ensure users understand the concept before submitting proposals and to let them log in quickly with Google. And so there you have it. Our tool for running our experiment is officially up and running. Maybe this is the tool that's going to make me lose all my money, huh? At any moment, my collective intelligence could turn against me because I'm going to invest 500 euros in each stock. And either the guy specifies in his reasoning like, yeah, this company is going to release a product in 2 days, so potentially the price will go up. Or the guy is sneaky, like, for example, he'll say, look, this company just keeps losing value day after day. Vote for this proposal so that Owen loses all his money. And I'm sure some people would do it. 500 euros is a lot, but the goal is that even small stock changes will lead to interesting results after 10 days. And then, to get a reliable idea of how much we're making, I'm going to use an app that lets you invest with no transaction fees. There will only be the unavoidable fees from private banks. And that means if I spend 500 euros, I'll have almost 500 euros worth of stocks. That's not the case on most platforms, where you have at least €1 in fees for each purchase, and that's thanks to N26, the sponsor of this video. And honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better sponsor for this concept. N26 is an online bank offering a French IBAN and a free account. They're giving you 30 euros now if you sign up with my code AN30. You can take it and even convert it into stocks. Investing is a major benefit of this bank. You can access over 3,000 global stocks and ETFs, buying shares from just €1 with no fees, even on a free account. It's ideal for beginner investors with small amounts and also offers online banking benefits. For example, thanks to them, you can have this beautiful black metal card to pay with. And they also have other models available. Getting started in the stock market, beyond just finding the right app, isn't easy. If I talk to you about MSCI World, Beta, or ISIN, you'll get lost. And that's why N26 has created content available on the app to help you understand things more clearly. When you click on an ETF, you get clear info on dividends, fund size, and stock distribution, which is helpful. Also, N26 has over 3 million clients in France, giving you confidence. votes. With support available 7 days a week and until 11 p.m., it only takes a few minutes to create an account, so don't hesitate to do it. Not only is it free, but they are also offering you a special €30 bonus if you use my code AYAN30. Now I just need to announce the project to my community to begin selection. I'm curious since they have so many options on this list. By the way, as a side note, I literally spent 5 hours manually cross-checking all the stocks available on N26. There were so many of them. I hated my life, so I posted about it on my Discord. Feel free to join us. There are 10,000 members and we often host events. We'll create a system where people can subscribe to a role by clicking a button, so they'll get daily reminders to suggest or vote on stocks. Let's go. Such a noob. For now, people are just making suggestions. There haven't been any votes yet. But the number of suggestions? Well, Ferrari, because Ferrari, what? Rolls-Royce? They have beautiful cars. Don't worry, it's going to go up. Guys, what are these crappy explanations? I'm going to add a system so my moderators can delete suggestions with lame reasons like that. Otherwise, it won't be serious. Well, that'll be done starting tomorrow. Okay, we're starting to get some interesting explanations. Look, here for example, Tesla. Elon Musk just left the US government. The boycott is ending and the stock market is changing. Yes, here, it's based on current events. So, is he right? I don't know, but there's some thought behind it. Or also, we have Nvidia, which is also one of the most voted for, as you can see. Nvidia post stock split plus IPA equals potential quick rebound over 10 days. Very strong short-term momentum. Here, I didn't understand anything, but there's the expert talking. And it shows that the voting system works if there are that many votes. You still have to keep in mind that if there are 13 listed here, it doesn't mean there were 13 upvotes, because actually this counter takes into account both upvotes and downvotes. So it's the total of both that makes 13. And by the way, it cracks me up because votes also work the other way around. Look, if we go to the bottom of the ranking, we have this stock. Ubisoft, please go and downvote me. And it's getting crushed. Literally. And look, if we compare it with the stock price, we can see that literally, they're not doing very well right now. Clearly, if I had to choose this, I think I would lose money. They're losing money every day at the moment. It's a disaster. So, I'm pretty glad it's at the end. Well guys, things aren't going so well. We're being attacked by an army of bots. Some stocks get lots of upvotes. Others get downvotes. It's nonsense. We're hitting hundreds, but these aren't real people. Actually, the thing is, even if we ask people to log in with Google, apparently there are people using fake Google accounts. It's really the same principle as YouTube bots when I made that video. This time, it's my site. It shows we need better security. It's not a big issue since NetOff is currently working on the project and fixing the backend. These accounts are easy to spot. We just need to remove them from the database to restore real votes. With our plan, the bots should be gone by tomorrow. Anyway, whatever the case, Nvidia had won the vote, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get it on N26. We'll put €500 in. I'll show you the first purchase so you understand. And as you can see, there are no fees here. Invest now, and that's it. And there you go. We have our portfolio showing 500, and we have this chart that will update as the video goes on, and will let us see if we're making money or losing it. Alright, let's continue the experiment. It's day 2. Out of curiosity, let's check Nvidia. In just 24 hours, we went from a €9 loss at 2 p.m. to a €5 gain 4 hours later. There you go. That shows you just how quickly a stock can move. It's true that for now, we only have a €4 gain, but I'm really curious to see what it'll look like after 10 days. We have quite a few suggestions again today. What do we have? We have Tesla, for example. Honestly, I hope this stock loses because it's just too unpredictable. If Musk or Trump tweets, the stock goes wild. He says it's an undervalued stock, and the drop is unrelated to the company. The Musk-Trump reunion should quickly boost it since it fell after their argument. Honestly, in the same vein, if we're talking about downvotes, Apple is also really interesting. I don't know if you've been following, but Apple announced a graphic redesign of iOS. Basically, it's a liquify mode, it looks like this, and they got slammed for it. It's a design that's literally very hard to read on certain surfaces and all. It's really weird that they chose that, and basically, their stock dropped. And apparently my community didn't like it either, because me, well, for Apple. The guy says, look, there's a new iOS version. People didn't like it either. But today's winning stock is Ferrari. 24 hours of Le Mans this weekend, so obviously this is going to make the brand's stock go up. I don't know much about motorsports, but the 24 hours of Le Mans is this weekend, and Ferrari teams are taking part. So obviously if that team wins, it's going to increase the stock's value. It basically turns into making a sports bet. At this point, it's not really about the stock market anymore. We're still investing those €500 in this stock. Let's go. I'll update you on the 24 hours of Le Mans. Alright, third day. Don't worry, we're not going to go through each day one by one, because otherwise you'll end up watching all 10 days go by. That might not be super interesting, but still, we can do a quick stats update right now. We've made 4 euros on Ferrari since yesterday. Only Nvidia dropped slightly, but we're still up. Let's go eat. It's not a huge gain. We haven't invested much yet. And the stock of the day in the votes, apparently, is Catalyst Pharmaceuticals. No, I didn't know it either, don't worry. Judging by the explanation the guy gave, he seems to know what he's talking about. What's cool is that he really takes into account the fact that we're doing a very short-term experiment here. Investing long-term and short-term are really two different things. By the way, I learned Catalyst develops drugs for rare diseases. We'll see if it's really a bullish trend like they say. Quick note, this is Awen from the future. He's a bastard. I won't say more, but really, how could we trust a guy named Jambonbon? The days went by. Day 4, we had Thales. Thales is a French group known in the fields of defense, aeronautics, and cybersecurity, among others. What isn't reassuring is that he's just assuming the stock will keep rising because it went up. That's not a good argument at all, really not in the stock market, and on day 5 we had Dassault Aviation. Here too, it's France that's in the spotlight because it's a French manufacturer of military aircraft and business jets, like the Falcons for example, which you probably know, but this time we have a real reason. In 2 days, there's an exhibition showcasing the group's innovations, which might boost the stock. By the way, today is Monday, and remember, what happened to Ferrari's stock after the 24 hours of Le Mans? First of all, Ferrari won, victory. They managed to triumph over Porsche. My knowledge of motorsports means I won't give you more details except that they won. And so regarding the stock, well, you can see that we're down by 25 cents. There was no impact. Just because Ferrari wins doesn't mean they'll sell more cars. In fact, we're actually losing money on our 5 stocks bought, but unfortunately we're down 3.37 euros overall. There have been minor drops. It's nothing dramatic so far. We're only halfway through the experiment, so big changes could still happen. The graph is flat because it's the weekend and markets are closed, so we can't invest. And in the same way, even during the week, there are opening and closing hours for the stock market, and outside of those times, we just can't invest at all. And basically, the idea is to prevent abuse by banks and to allow traders to have at least some kind of work-life balance. Well, for traders or for YouTubers. A little jump into the future, we're on day number 8 of the experiment and 2 stocks have been voted on. I have to admit, at this point I just see the days passing by, and most of all, I see my portfolio crying. I'll give you a rundown on that right after. The first stock joining our portfolio is Alphabet, Google's parent company. Apparently they've released a new AI, Notebook LM. It's a web application for research and note-taking that they've developed. And most importantly, you probably saw Veo when they released it, their AI that makes really impressive videos. And then, Airbus is being suggested to us for reasons that are a bit unclear. The guy says, I have contacts who tip me off about an imminent deal announcement involving a transatlantic contract. I don't buy it, but I'll let you know Monday. We'll see if the stock moves. Honestly, I think he's lying, but he convinced people. Also, in aviation right now, it's not really amazing news because there was an Air India crash that you probably heard about. Since it was a Boeing aircraft, you can really see the impact it had on their stock price. Not sure if it's ethical, but maybe this will boost Airbus's stock. Because now we can take a look at the results. And it's not as great. Already with Alphabet, we've already lost 15 euros, it just started. And especially Catalyst Pharmaceuticals. The guy who did, I don't know if you remember, a crazy analysis saying it could only go up. We lost 32 euros. Apparently, their competitors had better results, and so, well, the stock dropped. Everything is in the red, only Nvidia made us $5. Collective intelligence isn't looking great for now. The experiment isn't over, anything is still possible. It could go up and bounce back. It's like a casino addict saying, I'll make it back, but We're on the 10th day and so the voting is over. We have the 10 stocks in our possession. We just got Dr. Pepper as well. It's that drink. The guy's betting on the fact that it's going to be summer. And don't laugh too much because, well, for now, it made me 10 bucks. Next, we have OVH. It's a French hosting company. The guy says it very well. Baguette, baguette. I really have some top analysts among my followers. And finally, we have another Thales stock. We bought at a higher price before the stock dropped. Now we'll buy again to average out our purchase price, as they say in business. Meaning that if we bought it here and we buy it again here, it's like we bought it here. The explanation is lousy. I'm sorry, I'm going to get insulted by all the bankers in the world. Basically, what they'll remember is that maybe we'll still manage to make a profit, because right now, the portfolio... it looks like this. I don't want to comment on current events. Nothing major has happened, but the global economic situation is catastrophic with wars and more. Maybe things will calm down soon and markets will recover. I'll be watching for that. To get the final results, I'll give you a little update in a few days, and then we'll really know whether or not we're going to stay at a loss. Here are the final results of the experiment. It's been 2 weeks since the first day we voted for a stock, and well, we're at a loss. Let's not beat around the bush. Collective intelligence didn't win over these 2 weeks. There are plenty of reasons that could explain this. First of all, 2 weeks is probably very short to try to predict things. The diplomatic context might be difficult right now, and maybe people didn't participate very seriously and just made random choices. I still had this theory that collective intelligence could turn us into professional traders, and so we could have made a profit. If you want to start investing or get 30 euros for free, I encourage you to open an N26 account using my link in the description. Thank you, N26. Thank you to everyone who took part in this experiment. This is Awen. Kisses.